Ever wonder why artists create their art? In this series, Crafting a Career in the Arts, The Art of Why, you will hear from Edmonton-based artists from a wide range of disciplines. These artists will share with you why they create, how they use their art form to maintain their mental health, help with a disability, or as a way to connect with their community. We will also feature some of Edmonton's locations and organizations that support the arts in our city. In this episode, you will hear from a modern impressionist painter whose goal is to raise $1 million for charity through live painting at events. She will also discuss her career as an artist, musician, and her advice on finding your artistic voice.
Denis, and I'm located in the Edmonton area. So I grew up by Elk Island Park, which is like a 45-minute drive northeast of the city. I lived on an acreage property with my brother and my parents. I grew up watching my mom paint. She's a realist painter, so it means like you take a photograph and where it looks like a photograph, like that's realism, right? So that's the type of art that I kind of watched and learned, and I had skill quite young in my life, learning by watching, and then I've always drawn and painted my whole life. So I've been surrounded by it my whole life, just like my son's been surrounded by art his whole life. I painted up until college. I went and studied music in college, and then when I finished, I tried to kind of decide, do I want to pursue music or art or both? So for a while it was both, and then art kind of really took a more front seat in my life. I'm an impressionist, modern day impressionist, I guess you'd call me. I work with acrylics, lots of texture with a palette knife. I use a ton of paint, lots of color, and I paint by feel more than thinking. Like I get into like they call it a flow state when you're creating, right? So I get into it and literally I'm like, hours go by and I have no idea what time it is. Sometimes I get really into it and I paint kind of what I see in my mind's eye, kind of from memory and by feel. And I feel good when I'm painting. There is a lot of texture on most of my work. So when I do, this is a palette knife painting, and I use a lot of paint. I go through like 4 gallons a month of paint. And so like lots of layers go down, and it's all about layering. So this first layer here, this yellow you see, is covered up first. It's the whole thing. And I can't tell you how much paint is on here, but I would say maybe 3/4 to a gallon, half a gallon, 3/4 of a gallon of paint goes on here. My favorite pieces are, it's a mixture of, sometimes my favorite piece is the hardest piece I made, where I have to fight with it. Because sometimes when you fight with something that you're making, that like fighting process forces you to find a solution to what you're making to make it great at the end. So I would say a lot of great paintings come out of the fight. You're fighting to make it great. That really helps. But also there's joy in making something that just flows easily and just like bleh, it comes out, and there's not no effort, but it's both. I guess I would say I'm probably most proud of pieces that I had to work really hard to make look good. It takes a really long time to find what your voice looks like on canvas. It doesn't just happen in a year and 50 paintings, even 100 paintings into your process. I feel like it takes, like they say, 10,000 hours into doing something. That's where you really are called a professional at what you do. So now I would say it took about 10 years, 5-10 years of painting every day, literally every day of the year. And when you're in it that much, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, and the quicker you find your voice and your style. So after a while, people started to tell me, I've seen your work before. I saw your work here, here, here. So it takes a while, but it's really satisfying when people start to recognize your work. So realism was what I learned to do. I could naturally really kind of pick it up easily, even though it's not easy. I discovered it just by painting all the time. And so when you kind of get into it and you kind of relax and loosen up in your process and not worry so much about like what the outcome will look like, and you're just playing, in your play state, your creative brain opens up. Like it's almost like this cavern inside you that is locked until you let go. And when you let go, you discover what you have inside yourself, what you're capable of. When you loosen up, it's like the fibers inside you and your cells like open. I'll paint for a little bit and then I'll take a break and I'll go for a walk, or I'll go do yoga, or I'll do something else that kind of breaks up the spaces that are become tight or where I feel stuck. And it's like, or I just feel tired or whatever. I try to listen to my body and go, okay, I'm tired. I need to do something else. And then the ideas come. So when I'm creating, I get a lot of custom orders, and I have to remind myself, enjoy yourself, play. Paid you to make this painting because they wanted you, your authentic self, to make it. They didn't ask you to be someone else while you're creating. And it's hard because you can get tight in your process when you're like, this is for someone, I hope they like it. I actually have to forget about it. Just, what am I painting? That's the assignment, but enjoy myself, and then most joyful parts inside of you come out when you're enjoying what you're doing. Everything inspires me, so that's kind of a vague answer, but when you're creating every day, like the studio is always warm, so I don't necessarily feel like I have to come in and warm it up. It's like my ideas are all in a funnel, and I only have this tiny little space that it can come out of because it's just my one hand and my brain working together to make the thing, my eyes, my brain, my hand all coming together to make this thing. This is south facing, and I have a forest that I look out at. One of the reasons we bought this acreage property was because look at what I get to look at every day. Every season it changes, and I feel the most peace and rest when I can be in my like happy place here. So I grew up in a place that has similar views. There was a big lake and there was trees and stuff. That is like a huge inspiration for me. Music inspires me, fashion inspires me, design inspires me, people inspire me too. Like when I'm live painting, we'll get to that, I get, people say things and I just, I get really into what they're saying, and then they give me ideas for like a lot of the names that I give my paintings. I hear songs and I'll hear a lyric. That's the name of a painting. Like I'm constantly writing on my phone, dictating something while I'm walking, even when I'm driving, press record. Okay, I got this idea for this idea. And when I'm sleeping, I'll wake up in the night, I get ideas for names of paintings or certain scenes, and I'll like sketch it out in the dark. And like, okay, I see this. And color combinations come when you're just always, again, repeating myself, but painting all the time. The amount of paintings I make are my ideas. It's almost like my note-taking is my painting, if that makes sense. Like, got an idea, paint it. Another idea, paint it, write it down, paint it. Like it's always coming out and being documented somehow. I do the same with songwriting. I really feel like not every painting is a masterpiece, right? So I might have to paint 100 paintings to get one exceptional painting. And that one exceptional painting is exceptional because I had to paint 99 paintings first to get the one exceptional painting, the one maybe masterpiece painting. But I never go to make a painting telling myself this is a masterpiece, because that is way too much pressure. It's just my note-taking. It's coming out in a song, it's coming out in a painting, it's coming out in whatever way it's going to come out. Probably my mom, growing up with her, always encouraging me to create somehow. That was huge, right? When you're young, that's like major. And I don't know, I've been fortunate to be surrounded by really great leaders in my life, whether it was like I really remember my junior high teachers and how much they encouraged me, and in sport even, nothing to do necessarily with music or with art, but and then going into like older years when people started really more encouraging me and in my art, when it comes to encouraging me in my creative things that I was doing and making, I've always pretty much been encouraged, which is great. I always say that my art statement, every artist is asked to have an art statement. Mine is hope. We all need hope. We all have hope. If you don't have hope, it's hard to live. It gives you meaning, it gives you purpose in life. So painting has helped me as far as like healing. For the last like 4 years, it's really sad. My dad's been fighting throat cancer, and so it really kind of shifted in me that art has really helped me. I'm so happy that I have art as a tool to use as just, you know, dealing with all of that and what that looks like for me as his daughter, watching him suffer for this long. So that's been really difficult. I'm happy that I have art to help me like escape into my time I have with the painting and just kind of work out my feelings and thoughts. We all have challenges. This is why my art is, the theme is hope. People think like certain people's lives look so perfect and that they're not facing anything hard. And I'm like, no, actually, like a lot of my life is great and a lot of it sucks. And it's really difficult, you know, watching your loved ones suffer. I lost a friend to cancer about 1.5 years ago. She was one of my best friends. For 6 years, she was sick, and that was really awful watching her suffer. And it is nice to have the art to help deal with that, because a lot of people come to me for a painting for those reasons. Lost a loved one, or someone's sick, or they've overcome and they got better, or even mental health things. Like a lot of people come to me for my art for that reason. Like, I need your painting in my place because I just feel I'm in a dark place and this is just lighting up my spirits. And so, yeah, to know that it helps not only me, but other people too is really satisfying. So the state of mind I find I'm in, whatever state of mind I'm in, I paint through it. I just found that no matter how I'm feeling, I just paint anyways. And it does help me feel better when I'm in painting, and after I've painted, I feel the sense of accomplishment is nice. Yeah, a live painting actually happened for me by accident. So a cool story, I was showing my work back in the day at the farmer's market downtown outside. 40,000 people go through that market a day, so I was like, I'm gonna plop myself down right in this market where all these people are. This is the goal always, put yourself in front of people. And I was just kind of like, okay, next to the guy selling carrots, and there's Giselle with her paintings. And it get long days. So I would just bring a bunch of stuff to paint, and I'd pass the time by painting, because it goes by so fast when you're painting. Anyway, and this lady taps me on the shoulder, and she's like, Giselle, you have an audience? And I turn around, not kidding, like a whole crowd of people, like 50 people, I don't know, standing right there, kind of a ways, watching me. And I was like, oh geez, don't turn around. Like, and I just kept painting, and they were just all standing there like I had set up a show or something. And then a lady came over to me and said, I want you to paint at my event this summer, and it's this big charity function. And I was like, oh my God. So I did that for her, and the painting sold for $50,000 at her auction. Yeah, it was crazy. So this is all talking about, part of my story is raising $1 million for charity. That started it with that painting. And now I'm over 820,000 since 2014. Crazy, right? This is all just live painting on location. So that experience of those people, that first time, people watching, and then painting for charity events here and there, and the more and more I did it, their response to watching me make the painting in person, like my Facebook people love watching me paint on the screen here for my Facebook Lives, just from what people tell me, like all the things the beautiful things people would say about watching a painting being made. So when I'm asked to do, like, I get asked every day for a silent auction item for my fundraiser, and I said, you know, I don't do silent auction items because you can raise so much more money. If you have a big event that you're like got a few hundred people at, I'll come and set up and I'll live paint, and it'll raise way more money. because I'm there making it in person. The first big painting that sold for $50,000, that was for Little Warriors charity. And then I've worked with Stollery, the Glen Rose, Jim Pattison in Saskatchewan. I'm doing quite a bit in Saskatchewan these days, like all these charity functions. Ronald McDonald House, the Lorena Shelter. Yeah, and these are all where I go live paint and then the painting sells at auction and trying to keep track of how much is raised and stuff. And the cool part is like after I paint for that evening, I get to meet the people. They get to tell me why they connected to the painting. With live painting, as far as like knowing what it would do, like, or where it would go or where I would head, I had no idea that it would have made such an impact. I didn't know that. I was painting because I loved it. And then when you do that, opportunities come your way. When you don't hide away in the studio, it can be hard for an artist. Most of us artists just want to stay home every day, never go anywhere, don't see anyone, just hide away in the studio and then hope everyone's just going to magically buy your paintings. That doesn't work. You got to get out there. And so I think it helped that I didn't know necessarily what I wanted, other than I just want to be happy and I want to continue doing what I love doing. And it's really, that's all. Like, it's really simple. I love painting. I love creating. And if I can keep doing that till, hopefully I can keep doing that till I'm 100 or older. The other art that I do is music, and I find it so fulfilling. And so I like writing songs, writing the melodies, writing the lyrics, like everything. Like I get the whole song ready, and I've been teaching myself GarageBand. So I record and produce within GarageBand. I have a whole music room in my other room here. And if I'm not painting, I'm playing music. And if I'm not playing music, I'm thinking about playing music. If I'm not painting, I'm thinking about painting and playing music. Like it's all consuming me, and it's who I am. And people say, like, who are you? And if you answer with your job, like, that's not who you are. Who are you really? And I'm like, no, I'm an artist. I am an artist. I am a musician. It's in my blood. It's in my cells and fibers of my being. It's who I am. I feel like art matters. I learned that actually over COVID, when I worried it wouldn't matter. And I had a lot of conversations with people about this, especially over the pandemic. And they said to me, it matters now more than ever. I'm like, oh, tell me more about that. And they said, you know, for one example, you stayed working, Giselle, so I was able to watch you on your live streams on Facebook. That meant a lot to me. That was the light in my day. Or I have one of your paintings, and that really lit up my day when I could just sit and look at this painting while I was sat down on my couch after my long day. Or they would get me to make a painting in the middle of the pandemic because they didn't have one yet, and they wanted this bright painting in their house to remind them that there's still hope that this is going to end someday. And I was like, okay, I'm not a teacher, I'm not in healthcare. What the heck can I do to be a light in this world, especially during that dark time? And so that made me feel like I had purpose. I think my advice for any artist, any creator, it would be, if you want to do it as a living, do you ask yourself the question, do you love it? Because at times it can feel like a job. At times it's not always just fun. So it can be still hard work. And I say, if you can't see yourself doing anything else, then maybe you've answered your question of, okay, this is what you want to do. But then when you do the thing that you want to do as an artist or creator, you have to know that it's not always going to be easy. And also find who you are. I find a lot of, visual artists, a lot of art starts to look like others' art because we're paying so much attention to what everybody else is doing. And I feel like an artist and a creator does themselves a disservice when they're copying someone's art. And you can be inspired by somebody, but I always try to be authentic to who I am and what I want to make. And the only way I can do that is protect my own brain and my own time. How do I spend my time? If you just spend time making something that you maybe see in your mind's eye, and even if it doesn't come out how you want instantly, that's okay. It takes time. Enjoy the process. It's all about the process. And I think creators and artists can forget that. Like, the important part of who you are and the fact that you're a human is that you have something special and different to offer the world that nobody else can make and do. And if you're not afraid to explore that, it's really fulfilling to have a style, have a look. I'm not saying my art is not influenced by anybody. Of course, everyone's inspired by something, but a lot of my images are 90% from my own brain, that I kind of see it in my mind's eye and then I make it. And then maybe 10% from like places I've gone, or my own photographs, or photographs that people send me, or being on location somewhere. And just, so it takes a while. It takes a while, and to be patient with yourself and to give yourself grace to find who you are and what you want to say and what your vision is. And that is really it. What do you want to say? What message do you have for the world with your, whatever you're making? This is definitely a flow state piece. So when I actually haven't said this yet, but when I'm making a painting, I like to do it from start to finish in one session, like without breaks, if I can. So this piece took me, I say 3 hours plus 25 years, right? It's not like I got up yesterday and I'm gonna make a painting in 3 hours. It's 4 foot by 6 foot painting. My natural process is very fast, but it actually sped up when my son was little and I was trying to find time to paint when he was really small, and he'd go have his naps, and I wanted to feel a sense of accomplishment, like, okay, I got an hour and a half, here we go. And I would go to the studio and pull out a canvas and make a painting and try and get it done, because I'm like, that's the time I have slotted to make something. And it's, for me, the flow of a painting is best when I've got this time set aside to have this coffee conversation with this canvas right now. And it's all happening right now. It's happening. And I make it and it's done. I have written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs, and songwriting is a bit different than painting. Most of them will never be heard, and most of them aren't good. But you get one good song by writing the 100 bad songs. Like, how do you find your voice in music, in art? Is paint more, create more, make it more. If all you're doing is spending time looking at what other people are doing, it breeds insecurity, it breeds jealousy, it breeds like an unhealthy urgency. And so you're basically just kind of filling up your bucket inside you with things that aren't necessary. But if you leave it to be filled up with your own like divine inspiration that can come only into your person, then leave space for that well to fill up with from that source, rather than have the source being toxic. If you spend all your time consuming, you don't have any room to be consumed with inspiration. Building a new art studio, the current space we're in right now is in my home, and I have very much so overgrown this space in my home. Running my business in my home this whole time, like, you can see how big the paintings are. They've taken over like every square inch of my house. Plus I have visitors here every day. And it's hard to like run a business in your home at the same time. We're building an extension to the house, and it's 1,800 square foot additional space, which is literally attached as a wing attachment. In this house, have 500 people that come here twice a year, and it's just kind of crazy. So we decided to expand and build this extra large space. It has tons of light. It's southwest, all windows, all white inside. And I'll be painting in there and hosting my open houses, and I'm very excited. And I'm hoping to open in the next coming few months, so we'll see. I want to paint all over the world. I want to be able to go to Paris, to London, to Australia. Like, I want to go anywhere in the world. I'd love to set up and paint and be asked to paint for things and do that. I've done that in Dubai at hotels and stuff, which is amazing. I want to do it more. I want to be in a movie. I'd love to be in a movie. I don't know if it'd be painting or what, but something to do with painting, doing my thing in a movie set. I want to have a book out. With my band, I want to perform more. I'd love to have a mural in every city across Canada, a giant mural. I have one in Edmonton. These are some of my big dream projects that I like to do. Discovered one of my paintings in like 1,000 years in the ground, and they excavated it and they found this painting. You know, what would I hope they would feel? I would hope they would feel like goosebumps that they saw it. They would recognize my name and go, that girl affected me.